You know that feeling like you're stuck on a financial treadmill? You're working hard, your income might even be going up, but somehow you're not really getting ahead. It feels like there's this constant invisible pressure to buy more, upgrade everything, just to keep up. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on that feeling. We're going to explore the invisible systems that are literally designed to keep you spending and how modern life itself can feel like a trap for your wallet. So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the big picture, what we're calling the consumerism engine. Then, we'll dive right inside our own heads to look at your brain on shopping. After that, we'll tackle the modern traps of debt and subscriptions and unpack the huge role social media plays in all this. And most importantly, we'll finish with a roadmap for how to actually break the cycle. All right, let's dive right into part one, the consumerism engine. We're starting here with the big picture, because to really get a grip on this, you have to understand the invisible system that's shaping so many of our wants and decisions every single day.
I mean, seriously, have you ever asked yourself this? It's a question that can really get under your skin. We are living in an age of just unbelievable abundance. We have more stuff, more services, more everything available to us than any other time in history. And yet, for so many of us, there's this constant nagging feeling of not enough. So why is that? Why is there always a next thing that we feel we absolutely need? Well, the answer really lies in this idea of the consumption trap. And this isn't just about you loving to shop. No, it's way bigger than that. It's a massive socioeconomic system, a machine, really, that has been intentionally designed to create a state of perpetual desire. And it's so effective because it cleverly links our deepest human needs, for happiness, for success, for connection. It links all of that to the simple act of buying things. And here's the real kicker. That feeling you get, that the next purchase will be the one, that you're just one new phone or one new pair of shoes away from the life you want, that is not a personal failing. It is a feature, not a bug, of the system we're all swimming in every single day.
Okay, so if that's the giant external system, how does it get inside our heads and actually work on us so well? That brings us to part two, your brain on shopping, or as we're calling it here, the internal enemy. You see, our brains are literally hardwired with this powerful reward system, and consumer culture has gotten brilliant at hijacking it. It all happens in this simple four-step loop. First, there's the cue. You see an ad pop up, you scroll past an influencer's post. Then bam, comes the craving. Your brain kicks into overdrive, imagining how great it would feel to own that thing. Step 3 is the response, that dangerously easy click of the buy now button. And finally, the reward. You get a satisfying little rush of a feel-good chemical called dopamine. And that loop right there is what turns a one-time purchase into a powerful, almost unconscious habit. And here's the crazy psychological twist. It's often the wanting that we're actually addicted to, not the having. It's the anticipation, right? The thrill of the hunt, imagining the package arriving, thinking about how cool that new thing will make you feel. That's where the biggest dopamine hit comes from. The actual owning of the item, yeah, that feeling fades, and surprisingly fast. And of course, that's what sends us right back to the beginning of the loop, scrolling and searching for the next fix. So our own brain chemistry is being used against us. And this whole process gets supercharged by all the modern financial tools we have at our fingertips. Which brings us to part 3, the debt and subscription trap. These are the external traps that make it so easy to stay stuck in that dopamine loop. Just think about how much the idea of having something has changed. In the past, the goal was usually ownership. It was a one-time thing, a bigger purchase that you actually had to think about, maybe save up for. But today, we live in the era of access. Your music, your TV shows, the software on your computer, even your razors, it's all based on these low-cost, automatic recurring payments. We're not really buying an asset anymore. We're just renting a service, forever. And the real danger here is that our spending becomes totally effortless, completely invisible, and constant. And what's the consequence of all this frictionless, invisible spending? Well, just take a second and look at this number. That's the average credit card debt for a young adult today. It's a truly staggering figure. And it makes this whole trap we're talking about feel very, very real. This isn't just some abstract theory. It's a heavy financial weight that millions of people are carrying around every single day. So if debt and subscriptions make spending easy, social media is what makes it feel essential, almost irresistible. And that brings us to part 4, social media's comparison game. Think of it as a social pressure cooker for all our desires.
There's this core idea in behavioral economics that explains so much about our online lives. It's called social comparison theory, and it basically says that we, as human beings, figure out our own value by looking at other people. It's this deep, primal instinct. We're always quietly asking ourselves, am I doing okay? Am I good enough? And we find the answer by comparing our lives to the lives we see around us. But here is the massive problem with that. What are we actually comparing ourselves to? We're comparing our own messy, complicated, real-life blooper reel to everyone else's perfectly edited, perfectly curated highlight reel. Every single post of a luxury vacation, a new kitchen, a fancy car, it all sends this subtle message. You don't have this, you aren't enough. It's a comparison game that we are biologically wired to play, but one that is mathematically impossible to win. Okay, we've looked at the system, our own psychology, the financial tools, the social pressure, and yeah, it can all feel pretty overwhelming, I get it. But here's the good news. Understanding the trap is the absolute first step to dismantling it. So let's turn the corner and move into our final and honestly our most important section, Part 5, Breaking the Cycle. This is the path to freedom. I want you to just let this sink in for a second. It can feel like we're totally lost in this maze, right? With pressure coming at us from all sides. But the single most important message of this entire explainer is right here. Despite how powerful and overwhelming this all seems, an exit does exist. Regaining control of your life and your finances is possible. It's not a myth, it's a destination. So how do we find that exit? It really boils down to a 3-step mental shift. Step 1 is simply awareness. You just start noticing the triggers. When you get that powerful urge to buy something, just pause and ask why. Was it an ad you just saw? A feeling of stress or boredom? Was it seeing something on Instagram? Step 2 is to create friction. The whole system is designed to make buying thoughtless and instant. Your job is to do the exact opposite. Create a 24-hour waiting period for any non-essential purchase. Unsubscribe from all those marketing emails. Delete your saved credit card info from websites. Make it harder to spend. And then there's step 3, the most powerful of all, redefinition. This is where you do the real work of consciously untangling your sense of self-worth from the things that you own. And that leads us to this final huge question. Who would you be, really, without all the things you own? If you took away your car, your clothes, your gadgets, what is left? Your sense of humor, your relationships, your skills, your memories, your values? That is the thought that ultimately sets you free from the consumption trap. Because when you can really answer that question, you realize you never actually needed all that stuff to be whole in the first place.